learned as an Army officer, if one of my soldiers does something, even though I wasn't there, I'm responsible for his actions because it's me who sets up the parameters, it's me who sets up the discipline in the unit as his commander. So I take that responsibility. I'm upset that you're upset. That does bother me when we get this many citizens in our room upset. Clearly we screwed up somewhere. And I'm going to take responsibility for that and work with my fellow council members to see how can we make sure this is done better in the future. So I promise you folks, that is going to happen. It's already happening. We've all thought about, man, whoever predicted it would turn out like this? But I want to draw a distinction here, folks. There was nothing unethical or intentionally done maliciously. I'm telling you that. I've observed this process since the beginning. Looking back, is there things that we should have caught? There are. And again, as an elected official, I'm taking responsibility. Okay, we do need to look at this whole process and see where did we make mistakes to break the confidence with our citizens. Because it's disappointing to me when I read things in the paper that the city is a villain, that the city is doing things maliciously, and I can see where citizens can get that perception looking back. So I want you to know that please know, folks, there was not a conspiracy here against your neighborhood. There is not one ongoing. What I'd like to say, the closed meeting, for example. We discussed the properties from the final study. There were several that were ranked higher. Okay? This was a very highly ranked property. It's been put out incorrectly that this was the lowest ranked property. That is not true at all. I have the study right here in front of me. This was number 4 of the total list by the numerical study. Once the cost of land was factored in as the last factor, then it was a higher ranking. Okay? But that gives you an idea of how this process was done. It was a numerical ranking that took a lot of factors in, some of which you folks have said here tonight. But the information that this was put out, or was the lowest property, or one of the lowest properties, and it's risen somehow through staff mischief, is just not true. The council has been informed of every property that was higher and what happened to it. And I realize you didn't know that. I hear you, okay, folks? But please know as well, like our attorney said, I mean, it's like when you're buying a house. That's not a public transaction. You know, you do that with your attorney, and there's strict confidentiality rules. Or excuse me, your real estate agent. The former mayor was still here. He could tell us that. He can't discuss that bid with anyone else because it could put your bid in jeopardy. The same principles apply. We do not want to raise your taxes to build a building like this any more than is necessary if the building gets built. So we try and find the best possible property. And when those other properties fell out, you know, you say, well, what was this consensus? Was it a conspiracy? No. Okay, now we have this property. It is available. We don't have to buy it. Let's use this as the proposed property. And the next steps to be taken were 2 things. The mayor was going to hold a meeting with the residents nearby in advance of the meetings that would be held in public in the normal city council meetings, but to discuss it in advance with those residents to let them know first. And then also additional testing that the mayor has described was going to be done. Geotechnical testing, soil testing, to see that, because again, this was the top site on that committee, but we still didn't know 100% this site is adequate. So there certainly was no decision made that this is the site for sure, because the city slated in that meeting additional testing to be done to determine if it was going to be feasible to use this site. What happened next was the meeting with you, or those of you that were there. I know not everyone was there. I wasn't there. I don't know what exactly was or wasn't said, but clearly something gave the residents the perception that this was a done deal, which was never true.
The words.
So, okay, again, I appreciate it, but, you know, just listen, I'd ask folks, because we listen to you, and we will listen to you again if you have anything else to say. So, that was not correct. Regardless of what was said, again, I was not there. That was never approved. This project isn't even approved. The council has never approved doing this project, let alone approved a site. Any decision like that will be done in an open and public meeting that will look like this. Because if this building is put together, it will involve a tax increase. And so there'll be a lot of people here. And we want to hear from you. So I just want you to know, folks, that there's no reason for us to have a conspiracy about this. And there was no conspiracy. And you can believe me or you can not. But I'm telling you, that is all that happened. It wouldn't have been appropriate for us to discuss that property any further in a closed meeting. And we didn't. And so we slated a public meeting for tonight. And then the mayor slated a meeting with you. I think things were said that were not correct at that meeting. That's created a lot of the perceptions. But that, folks, is a genuine mistake. There was no building to be built. I mean, we read in this flyer here, surveyors are staking out the area. There's not even an architect, there's not even a design, there's nothing to stake out for a building. I mean, I can't stress that enough, that this project is not approved, and no site is certainly not approved. The other things I was just going to mention really quick, because I think they're important to let you know what happened, because we don't want you to have a lack of confidence in the government and think that we are doing things in secret. So I wanted to address some of the others. You know, Mr. Berube had mentioned no one had asked to put it to a vote. I just wanted to let you know that has been discussed. I brought that proposal up in actually this exact meeting that we're referring to, and have discussed that. We also have, I think I've hit all these others. Okay, last thing I wanted to say too, I think it's not fair at all for any councilman to get up here tonight and say he was kept in the dark as to this proposal.
Say that again.
I said I don't think it is appropriate for someone to say that they have been kept in the dark on this city council as to what was happening with this proposal. And there were, in addition to the meeting that occurred, you know, I think that is common procedure, that if you are absent from a meeting, that you need to find out what occurred in that meeting. And that's what I do. Every meeting I miss, the next Monday, when I get back, so I'm usually gone for a week, I'll be in the offices of the mayor or the city administrator to find out what happened. Further, the city administrator 3 times has sent updates to the council, which the first item, one was July 24th, one was July 31st, and one was July 19th. And the first item on all of these updates sent to everyone on this city council was this exact discussion of the new Public Works building. 3 separate updates that were sent to every member of the city council. Every week, in fact, there was an update on the Public Works meeting that was sent. So I don't do that to be rude, but I think it's important to show that there's not a conspiracy to keep any council members out of knowledge, folks. Every council member received the same emails, the same discussions, and has the same opportunities to find more information from the city staff. So I think my summary of it all is, I promise you, there was no conspiracy. I think the process was wrong. I agree with you there. And we need to fix that and look at how we can make it better. And we hope that you'll all stay just as involved and come to all the city council meetings, because there's a lot of issues that are important, and I appreciate you coming.
Any other council members want to address? Carl?
How's everybody?
Hot. Turn on the air conditioning, Carl.